So we begin with a little story. It's a beautiful story from Shyama Kumari's series. Shyama Kumari has written 3 volumes on little anecdotes and stories about Mother and Sri Aurobindo. Very beautiful. You must pick it up if you haven't. And this is a story from there. So there was a person, in the story he's just called D. So D had a great connection with the mother, and the story goes that once he was traveling by bus and the windshield of the bus somehow came loose and the glass hit his face, and people thought that he would be dead or very badly wounded, but he didn't have a scratch on his face. It was as if somebody had somehow controlled the glass as it hit his face. Now later on in 1973, when he heard that the mother had left the body, he rushed. He didn't live in Pondicherry, but he'd come to visit her very often. So he rushed to the ashram, and by the time he reached, the mother's body was already put into the samadhi. Now this boy was heartbroken because he was one of those whose whole life was the mother. So the fact that he'd not even sort of had darshan of her and she had left her body, he decided he'll commit suicide. He said there's no point in living. Now mother's not there and what will I live for? So he was sitting near the samadhi planning, where will I go and commit suicide? How will I do it? He was involved with all that. And a person came and told him, come to the meditation room, where mother's bed was brought. And he was sitting and sobbing at the samadhi and said, I'm not interested, I'm not coming. But it was almost like something made him get up. He's saying, no, I'm not coming, I'm not coming. But saying that, he got up and his feet were as if carried to the meditation hall. And there he saw mother sitting on the bed, smiling at him and so living that he thought that these ashramites had concocted a story that she died so that they could spread the news that she had resurrected. And he says, I remember thinking, Arey, but even Nalini Das part of this conspiracy, how can it be and all? And he's thinking of all this, and then he sees mother doing this to him. And he's still thinking that the mother's living and this whole thing was just made up. So she does this to him and then she disappears in bright light. So then he was so happy to get a vision of her that he forgets all about his thoughts of suicide. So this is just to tell you, the title of this story is, of this talk is She Carries Me. So this man was sobbing at the samadhi. He didn't know, his mind was saying, no, I'm not going to go to the meditation room. But something bigger than him carried him, took him to the meditation room to give him a glimpse of what he needed to see. So this is not just in his life, this is something that happens in all our lives. In Savitri, there's a line which calls mother our beloved despot. Despot is a tyrant. A tyrant is somebody whose will supersedes everyone else's will. So thankfully, whatever mother wills for us, she somehow has a way to do it beyond whether we say yes or no. Because actually we think we are doing, but it's really mother who's doing everything. And it's when what I call mother is not this form. We have to remember that mother is the Adi Shakti, the first force that made creation happen. And the mother is eternal. She has always been, she will always be. And that eternal Adi Shakti which births creation, becomes creation, always carries creation in her. Like a physical mother carries the baby during gestation, during the 9 months, then births it, carries it around till it's weak. Eventually, the physical mother's form goes away and the person has to live. But the Divine Mother is a womb which is always around us. No? It's called the Hiranya Garbha, the golden womb of protection that always, always, always carries us. So, when do we feel that we are not being carried by her? When do we feel that? When do we actually feel that nothing's protecting me, nothing's carrying me? When things don't go your way, when things go contrary to your expectation, when you fail in your efforts, that time you feel, where is Mother? Why isn't she here? Why isn't she making me succeed? Why isn't she making things work out? But that's the time sometimes when we are carried most through it, because I'll give you an example. Once I'd gone to attend a fabric painting class, so I was given a yellow t-shirt and my teacher gave me fabric paints and said, paint whatever you want. I'm not great with art, I'm not you. So I chose the easiest thing to paint. I thought I'll paint a pink heart, simplest to paint. But I didn't take the right proportion of water. I took too much water and it just looked like a blob of nothing. And I thought my t-shirt was destroyed, my art was destroyed. And then my teacher took a fabric felt pen, you have pens which work, and she outlined it to form a beautiful people leaf. And I thought, wow, this is so much nicer than the cliched heart that I had thought I would paint. So that was a great life lesson for me, that I intend to do something and I may fail, but somehow life works it out so that what finally comes out is much better than what I intended. So there are these beautiful words of Sri Aurobindo. If we fail in our immediate aim, it is because he has intended it. Often our failure or ill result is the right road to a truer issue than immediate and complete success. So beautiful. Often our failure or ill result is the right road to a truer issue than immediate and complete success. If we stumble, it is to learn in the end the secret of a more perfect walk. If we stumble, a child stumbles, and that's how it gets up and walks and learns to walk. So if we stumble, it's to learn in the end the secret of a more perfect walk.